Okay, so in this section, what I'm going to be going over is some of the indicators that I use in my not necessarily day-to-day trading, but in my trading in general. Okay, you know, the thing with indicators is they get a lot of flack, and everybody's a big fan of price action. If you're a proper trader, you only use price action, only need price action, and I would somewhat agree with that. Most of my day trading doesn't really use indicators too often. Maybe some volume profiles here and there. But the thing with indicators is if you know what you're looking for, and if you can find, signs on the chart that your indicator is being followed by, price action, then these indicators can become very, very useful for picking up trend changes, okay? And I'm going to show you an example of this through using the exponential moving average, okay? So the indicator that I use, if you come into your indicators and you type EMA 50, 100 and 200, this is the one I use here. Okay, if you click on that, it will bring up three different exponential moving averages, one of them for the 50 period, one for the 100, one for the 200. Okay, and what these do is basically show a running average of price over, so you've got 200 on the 4 hour, so that's the average of the last 200 4-hour bars, and it gives you a running or moving average over time, okay? And it often acts as a nice point you can look for potentially sometimes support, resistance. Can sometimes just give you an indication of the strength of the trend. Okay, there's no exact science on how to use these, but you can just over time start to pick up on things that do become helpful with this. So in this example, what I want to show you is I'm quickly going to remove two of the EMAs. I'm going to take out the 100 and the 50. It is a 55 on this, but they call it the 50. And we're left with the 200. And the reason why this is important, this EMA here actually helped me identify this huge trend change we got in Bitcoin very, very early on. Okay, and the people who were in my server right from the beginning, when we were trading down here, it was very obvious to me that we were coiling underneath this EMA, and it massively helped me to identify, a fantastic trade. And what I'll show you is why did I realize that this EMA here, okay, this 200 on the 4 hour seemingly random EMA would be so helpful, okay? And, why would it help me to identify and be able to take one of the biggest trades of the year, okay? So if we zoom out and we look at price action over the past year or two, what we can see is that the 4 hour 200 EMA has been massively respected ever since we started really running back down from April 2022. Okay, what we see is we catch it as resistance all the way down, even catching it here, and then within this consolidation, it actually shows to us that it's still being respected somewhat. Okay, so when price trades above it, it does tend to find it as support. When price trades below, it can find it as resistance as well. It's showing to be a clear pivot point in the consolidation and a clear sign of resistance throughout this trend. And what we see here is we had one breakout, which I did try and trade at the time, and it was a failure. Okay, closed back down. It was a fake out above the 4 hour. But what we see, if we really examine closer, is still even down here, this 4 hour and 200 EMA is defining the trend. Okay, while we're consolidating here, we're running into it as clear resistance. We have one attempt to break above, we flip it for support before falling through and catching it as resistance again. And this here for me was the clearest indication that this was going to spell a change in the trend, because what we see here is price coiling up into a really tight range. Okay, so if you look at the size of this range, about 0.6%, 0.7% range under here, before eventually coming back above and coiling right above it, okay, in another very, very tight consolidation range, before finally getting the breakout, which took Bitcoin on a huge run all the way up to where we're at now, which is in the 28k region. Okay, if we look further up the trend, what we can see is that the 4 hour 200 EMA continues to get respected as we head up. Okay, so we catch its support over here and again here, and when we do fall through, we fall through aggressively, and we can see you get another bit of price action around it here, and it continues to be a key area of support and resistance throughout the entire trend, and definitely something to base trades around. And, with these EMAs, that's all you're doing really. You're just looking to find, positions on the chart where these EMAs basically are respected, okay? That's all it is. And, there's nothing fancier to it than that. As we can see over here, catching it as clear support on the 1 hour, 200 EMA, okay? We can see up here, these final bit of the trend, the 50 EMA, acts as clear support, and when it gets broken through, it gets broken through hard, and it comes right down to the 200 EMA on the 1 hour. So that's all you have to do really. You just have to go through different time frames and try and find points of confluence where it's clear that the EMA is being respected, and use that to basically pivot your trades around alongside other technical indicators, okay? So this, again, none of these indicators are anything that I use on their own, okay? You do want to be using it with other forms of technical analysis. And in terms of the time frame you want to be looking at, that's going to be depending on what kind of trade you're looking for. So obviously you're going to want to use the higher time frames if you are looking to do some swing trading. But if you're looking to scalp, maybe you want to be watching the EMAs on the 15 minutes to kind of get a bias. Maybe you want to even check the 3 minute or the 5 minute. I'm sure you'll still be able to find some points of confluence where the EMAs are respected, okay? And that's just how it's going to go.